We would like to welcome along Dan Jones to Southern Roots. Dan, you might recognize this guy. He is a maestro on a guitar. He is like the modern day Brian May on a guitar. And when you're stood in a crowd waiting to see the Luke Combs UK tribute act, this is the guy that gets your pulses roaring when he starts that rhythm into Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. And we love watching you jump around when you do that. You're like a child again.
Yeah, man.
Dan Jones is welcome back. We spoke to you before when you first launched your solo EP, and you've had a busy. I mean, that was only earlier on this year, but you've had some year.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year, man. Absolutely crazy.
I mean, if we get rid of the sideline of the whole Luke Combs thing, I mean, you've been out to the States, you've toured, you came home, you went back and played Category 10
Yeah, yeah,
at the request of Luke Combs.
yeah,
Um, you've come back and you've now got this brand new song out, Goodbye Till When.
yeah.
Um, and what I noticed this morning, and I don't know whether you released it this morning or it just came up in my feed this morning, there's a new little series to go along with this.
That's right. Yeah, I thought to myself because obviously when I released my EP, I did some lyric videos and whatnot, and technology has sort of like come on leaps and bounds this year, like ridiculously. And years ago, well, not years ago. I mean, like even just 5 years ago when I did my solo instrumental album, I had to go online and source, people to work with in order to do videos and things. And I did a video for a song called Disclosure, and yeah, it was really, really tricky to pull that all together. And if you're on a really tight budget, it's if you're doing a lot of it yourself, which I do, um, if the video side of things, it's quite tricky. And I put together this new video with the use of AI. Yeah, I've been dabbling in things, and trying things out. And
But the
it's all,
music's you. The music's
yeah.
all you. It's just the video.
Well, the thing is, it's storytelling at the end of the day, and if it helps tell a story, which I think in this instance it does, and the quality is great. And what I wanted to do, rather than put something out that's like, just one big 4 minute, video, I think after doing a lot of sort of time spent on TikTok and looking at YouTube shorts and how best to engage, and then putting out posts on Instagram and watching how they perform, it's pretty obvious, that nowadays people enjoy short 15-second to 30 seconds or a minute's worth of video amongst their busy lives, on the school run, or you're sort of quickly looking at your phone over your breakfast. And yeah, so I decided that rather than put out, I will put out the full thing, but rather than do it straight away and waste the opportunity for people not to watch it in its entirety, I thought I'd chop it up into four mini series, like 1 minute sort of posts or reels. There's a new craze in China apparently where they're doing like full series, but they're putting them out like every 2 days or every 3 or 4 days in very, very short bite size
Right.
sort of videos. And I thought, well, I'll try that. Let's do that. It'll mean that I'll probably get more people watch it because it's only short, and it keeps it engaging, and it gives me more content to keep putting out, and try and keep people engaged. So it's just part of the evolving strategy of releasing your own stuff and trying to. And also, to be fair, right? I mean, I really enjoy the whole process, of being in the band with the Luke Combs UK guys, working with Liam and the boys, playing on these big stages and that. But also, I love writing, I love recording and mixing, and I love all the creative stuff that goes with it, the artwork, the videos, and all just the ideas, And
Yeah.
I bought Rick Rubin's book about the creative process, and he's absolutely right when he says, you do it for you.
Yeah.
If you've done it for you and you're really happy with it, you think it's decent, then you've done the right thing. If other people are going to like it, if you're happy with it, other people will be.
Yeah.
So
I always say that you've got to stay true to who you are.
yeah,
You first and foremost, you've got to make the music about you. You know, if you don't like it, then how do you expect the public to go for it? But I mean, I must have thought when I saw that this morning, I mean, it's two good-looking actors that are there. You know what I mean? I thought he's got some financial backing on this one.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I'll be quite open. You have to be open about like AI, the use of AI on things, you know. But you know, I'm quite open in as much that I've used it. But the way video is developed and the way image creation is developed, I know a lot of people were worried about all these deep fakes and all this stuff. But like any new technology, it can augment what you already do
Yeah,
and enhance it, and it doesn't make you any less creative. It makes you more because it gives you more options. So I've been sort of experimenting for about a month now with video on different platforms, and I've slowly, you know, sort of learned and experimented, put a few little bits out that people have enjoyed, and thought, no, I could probably do something with this, you know, and it'd be decent, and it'll help me tell a story, you know. So I thought, why not? Let's go for it, and it's been well received so far. The little bits I've put out, so I think they're. I've just got to work on the last one the next couple of days, but by the weekend, you know, the whole thing should have been out, and yeah, I just love the fact that we've been able to create two characters, Jackson and Ruby, and they've got a backstory. You know, we've written a whole sort of script for this. You know, it's almost
yeah.
a mini movie. It's all been done properly. You know, so without all that, without all then looking into each of the scenes and developing all the clips, and then looking at, you know, giving each of the characters a backstory, and you know, how they met and things like that, and then turning it into a real country sort of got a real country feel. And having been in the States and seen like the dive bars and how people are together, and that, you know, I thought, you know, this is quite authentic. You know, it's, and when you're driving across America, I've had the privilege of doing that a couple of times, you know, both on the East Coast and around Tennessee, Kentucky, and St. Louis, and up to Chicago, and the landscape, and knowing sort of what the vehicles look like, and, you know, sort of trying to give it that authentic feel. So I'm really pleased with it.
I definitely think there's a place for it in the modern day for the music video, like you say. It makes it nice to kind of follow a story than just sit and watch like an artist just sitting on the boot of a car or something. You know what I mean? I'm still unsure about it crossing into the music side of things, but it certainly caught my attention this morning when I saw the clip this morning. I thought,
Oh, great. I saw
this
you
is,
reposted it, so thank you very much. Yeah.
he's stepped his game up here. So you've got a busy time leading right up to Christmas. You're heading into God's country on Wednesday,
Yeah, up to Glasgow.
and then
Ballarat, I think it is, which is going to be a big one. You know,
across
another big
to
show.
Edinburgh the
Yeah,
next day. Um, and you've already got a whole list of tour dates in for next year.
yeah, yeah.
Now, with Liam starting to do his own solo work, and obviously he won the competition at the Long Road, are we going to see a bit more of you on the road on your own?
Yeah, well, I'd like to. That was, I mean, I remember when I initially spoke to you earlier in the year. You know, I said like the intention was to try and see if we can get out and do some shows, which would be really great. I've got two guys who I used to work with in the Dreaming Tree, which was years and years ago, Neil and Jim. They've been open to come on the road with me if I can get some support slots and things. So what I want to try and do is next month we're going to do three short performance videos and a little interview thing, just introduces myself, you know, and then we use that as a bit of promo to help me sort of move forward in that area of going out and getting some support slots. Rodeos, the sheriff Simon at Rodeos has already said, yeah, you know, we'll put you on. So I just want to make sure that once I've had a few rehearsals with the guys that we've got something good, you know, and because guys I work with and I play live all the time, I'm sure it'll be really great, you know. So, but having not stepped out on my own in my own right,
Yeah.
that's really, that is the next sort of transition, and not getting any younger. So it's like get in the moment, man. I've got to get on with it, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, it's all fair and well said. You're living the kind of the dream going on the road and on the tour all so much as you do with the Luke Holmes tribute.
yeah.
but it'd be nice to see you get your recognition for your abilities as well.
Yeah, it'd be
You
great.
know, it's step into the spotlight, so to speak.
Yeah. I'd like to, obviously, I'm trying to develop my vocals, you know, being a front man. I mean, as I've said before, you know, standing next to Liam, Liam's got such a commanding presence on stage and he sings really great. He's got an amazing voice. And it's difficult not to compare yourself to great singers. But when you listen to a lot of country artists, you know, there's people out there that have got very average voices, but they've got character and they've got stories and they've got great songs. So, you know, there's room enough for everybody, people who are, you know, the incredible singers, but also people who've got a voice but still got a story to tell, you know. So I
Look
think
at
it's a
Willie
great,
Nelson. He's not got
yeah,
the strongest
exactly.
voice.
Yeah, yeah, big. And it's funny you should say about Willie Nelson. I mean, he's somebody that obviously I've known about for years and years, but I've never really sat and listened. And I bought a copy of Mojo magazine, and I bought it because it had got an interview with Robert Plant, and but it was the Willie Nelson story that caught my eye the most. And reading his history about him and being such a rebel against the record industry in Nashville, you know. The I think it was the guitarist, the famous guitar player from like the 50s. It's gone out of my head now, but he was the head of the production scene at the time in Nashville, and he was very much about this produced particular sound. And
Yeah.
Willie Nelson sort of fitted in that for a while, and then when he moved out Texas, I think he went, and he got in with the hippies and stuff like that. And he completely changed. You see this guy with a bandana, and he's like, you know, looking like, you know, Grizzly Adams. You know what I
This is it.
mean?
But
But
then,
yeah, it was his songs really. It wasn't his voice, and it was his direction and his refusal to conform to the
yeah.
you know, scene at the time that was so inspiring. I think.
And of course, yeah, Johnny Cash was the exact same. Not the
Yeah,
strongest of voice, and every song they played the same kind of rhythm in the background. It was, you know, they got the inspiration from the train, and that just kind of carried through everything they did.
yeah, yeah. So I've got to step that into the live arena really as well, and not pay much attention to it. I think sometimes you overthink things, and you just got to keep little steps, man, and just keep plodding on. When I started this, I mean, I wrote this song. It was at Farmer Copley's actually. There's a shout out to Robert Farmer Copley's up in Pontefract. We did this show at Farmer Copley's, and I was up there, and we gave us this lovely farmhouse to stay in. And I was lying there the one morning, you know, thinking about my life and thinking about my wife and the time we've spent together and all the time now we're apart.
Yeah.
You know? And so I wrote that song thinking about, you know, why do we bother? Why do we bother coming back and being together? What is it about you that makes me want to come home? You know,
Yeah.
and putting all those sort of things into music. And it's been a process then. It's been a year since that song's been about, but slowly refining it to the point where I felt after I got back from Canada, I thought, right, 2 weeks off, let's get back in and get this done. And it's come out. It's exceeded my expectations in terms of the sound and that, and I'm really pleased with it. You know, I think it's where I'd like to go vocally and more. And then I've got another batch of probably got about 7 songs that I'm planning and releasing over the next maybe 3 or 4 months. Drop maybe 1 to 2 every 2 months or every month, and yeah, see if I can keep developing my voice. Liam's given me a little bit of coaching as well, which is really great. So yeah, see where.
Biggest thing is to not over sing a song.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than when someone over sings a song, and you've got a good voice as it is. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Just kind of let it come to you naturally. I mean, we had the great honor of being the first to play the full song on Avondale Radio last weekend, and it went down a storm. And it is everyone's asked the same question. Although they love watching you, and I mean, when you look at you guys on stage, and the only thing I ever image about the Luke Combs Uke Tribute is when you walk on stage with that guitar and you start that opening riff from Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, and it's like you're transported back to being 13-year-old. You could see the crowd buzzing, and it's just filling you like a drug, and it just takes over. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to see you stood in the center and getting that recognition for your own music.
Yeah, be great, man. We'll see how we go.
So
And again,
you've,
support from people like yourself, it really helps. So
oh,
appreciate
well,
it. Thank you.
you know that we are British, homegrown talent the whole way and independence. But you're saying you've got 7 or 8 songs. Are we going to get drip fed these, or is there going to be another EP? Are we looking at an album?
No, I think again, this is something that I've thought a lot about over the past year. Again, since releasing my EP and having done a lot of releases with my previous band, The Dreaming Tree, and we did 4 albums with them. We were signed to a major record label, Cherry Red Records. We had international distribution and whatnot, and big PR company behind us and that. And sometimes, I mean, I was obviously, my experience was in that traditional sort of record label release thing, you know. And I think it's taken me a bit to get my head around how much it's changed. And my solo album, my instrumental one, I released in the same way. Full album, 12 songs. You know, I hired a PR company, got magazine reviews and so forth. But and then I did the same with the EP. I did the same approach, put 4 songs together, put them out as a CD, put them on Spotify, distributed it. But now, after thinking about it, I think sometimes you think, well, when you look at songs that are performing well and others that don't off the release, sometimes you think, well, has a track been wasted by putting it out as a body of work instead of putting it out 1 or 2 at a time, you know, as singles?
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to sort of go down the road for a while of, rather than trying to work towards an album or another EP, I'm going to put out 2 songs maybe every couple of months. So much time and energy goes into not only writing but then refining them, and then when you start recording them, you know, you sort of take on a bit of a journey with that. I sort of have a rough idea of where I'm going, but I've tried to let the music speak to me and in the recording process and the
Yeah.
mixing process, and just let it guide me. And that's you know, it takes time. And well, that song probably took me about a week and a half just for the one song to get it, you know, recorded and mixed and tracked, all the different elements to it, going back to it at a, you know. So if you've got like 10 songs, it's probably taking you a good few years to put those together, or a year or so at least.
Yeah.
And then to bang them all out in one go and only 1 or 2 really get recognized or, you know, listened to, it's a bit of a shame, really. So I'm sort of the mindset at the moment, I'll just go out. It's the same with content, you know, for TikTok and for Instagram. You know, it's being careful that you don't waste the content that you have
Yeah.
and put it all out there, because it can just end up just getting lost. So, you know, just time it well, do it every maybe 3 a week or 2 a week, and it spread your content over the course of a few months, you know, and give it a bit of life then.
I think what you're doing is right. I mean, the production on the music, even from listening from the EP, you can tell it's stepped up the game. You know, it's not saying there was anything wrong with the EP, because there wasn't. We loved it as much as we love this new one, but you can tell as a listener that you're stepping up every time you're releasing something, which is great, because it's almost like we're expecting this crescendo. Where's this going now?
When I joined this band, to be honest, when Dave O'Dart, the drummer, phoned me, he says, "Oh, I've got this new project. It's a tribute band. Do you want to join?" I was like, "A tribute band?" I was like, "Oh no, no." I've always been like, if I was going to do covers, it'd just be around my local area, just for a bit of fun. You
Yeah.
know, I've always been about writing my own stuff. You know, I was in the Dreaming Tree for like 12 years doing all that. It was brilliant. So I've always been about writing and producing. And it's taken me a while to get the confidence of not having a bunch of guys I'm writing with, but I
Yeah.
can do it myself. I just realized of how much stuff I was doing with the Dreaming Tree, all the PR, a lot of the writing and the production and all of that, networking. And I thought, hang on a minute, just shine that light on yourself, mate. You know what I mean? And get on.
Absolutely.
Which is why, you know, COVID, I did the solo instrumental thing. That gave me a lot of confidence. And then when I started to see how much I enjoyed the country scene, enjoyed the music, and enjoyed Luke's tunes, you know, it really relate to a lot of the guitar work in there, the grooves, and it started to talk to me, you know. And then I've written my own stuff, and so yeah, it's just a natural progression, really. Next step is to get out and to play live again, but my own stuff, you know. And I'm sure you've seen me play live. It'll be the same sort of rude, loud, tasteful guitar work that will get people going.
Yeah.